computer, not to the cloud. Because my cloud is full already. Because homegirl needs to get better organized in 2023. So yeah, it's bad. Cindy's face. It was great. Okay. So what I love about this is I want to start having community chat once a month to where we are just getting to know each other. We're getting to, everybody that's brand new or just starting their journey. I'm finding a trend that everybody wants to find accountability. They want to feel like they're connected to something bigger than just products. And I'm seeing that even on the faith page where everybody's commenting out the check-ins. We're getting the most engagement already with those little posts. And I love that. And so every day, let's tag our people in those and get them engaged in those, because then it'll spark conversation and just spark more for them to just feel like they're in a bigger part of what we have to offer. But with this, it was one of those that I just wanted to go around us, kind of share a little bit about our story, how we got started, a little bit about ourselves, just like 5 minutes. And that's it. And I think that is we're going to do once a month, so we can just get to know each other. And then something, weird that other people might not know about you, kind of, at the end, like, oh, and here's something that nobody might not know, that I was an NSYNC hoarder and I liked, you know what I mean? Or whatever. So we'll get to that one when it comes to my turn. But anyway, so that's what I wanted to do tonight, to where we can just get to know each other. And I did not get to post it as soon as I wanted. And so that's my fault. And so sorry if you're watching this later and you're like, oh, I wish I would have known that. Forgive me. I was up really late last night and I did not get to post it sooner. But we're going to have these once a month at the beginning of every single month. And so I cannot wait. So if anybody would love to share first, I would love to just hear kind of your name. Obviously, it's on here. And then what intrigued you about Plexus and why you've stayed so far? If anybody wants to go first.
What intrigued us about Plexus? Is that what you said? Sorry.
You're okay. Yes. What intrigued you about Plexus and why have you stayed?
I was intrigued because of how quickly I felt a change by just using the products for a few days. And I have stayed because I see so much potential in how these products are able to help heal people from diseases. And obviously the community is a big part of that too. But those are my things.
So what was it about Plexus that intrigued you?
Honestly, the products. Like, I was hearing all these testimonies of people's lives being changed and people who have had issues that I had never in my medical thought process had known that could be completely eradicated. And I was very pleasantly excited, but yet cautiously, because I was like, wait, is this real? So I just dug in.
What did you start with? Like, why did you start the products?
I started the products because I was exhausted and I could tell that my body needed something, because I had like the worst heartburn that I've had in years, and I just was exhausted. And so I started taking them. I actually did one of the 3-day boxes. And so I tried them for 3 days, and I tried them against another company's products. So I tried that company's products for 3 days, and then, or actually I may have tried them for a few more days, but 3 to 5 days. And then I tried Cassie's 3-day box and could tell a huge difference. I thought it was weird because the first night I thought, surely this isn't the product's actually working already. Like, I felt like I was less irritable. I felt like I was actually able to stay awake. And I was surprised by that. So then I gave it another day and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like a normal human being and I don't feel grumpy. And I just felt I could tell a huge difference in 2 days, which was really impressive. So,
I think that's huge because it just shows what these products can do in a short amount of time and what the impact can be. And especially, a lot of people don't know that Julia actually came to Super Saturday, which is what we're having next weekend. And that's where she saw the bigger picture, what corporate does, and how they train us, how they teach us, but also the community and what our team looks like. Because I think we're unique and different. And that's what I love about us. And so that is why I'm a huge proponent to Super Saturday, because I feel like it starts the beginning of the year fresh. We're in resting, in a resting place where we can just join together and really vision out for the year and know where we're going. And that's why I absolutely love this coming weekend.
well, and I
And
think that too, the people, the leaders in the company that we have that are on our team that we've listened to are what's the word? Um they have a passion for Jesus and they want this to be something that can reflect that, not just heal people in their health. Like it's something that speaks from multiple different avenues, and that is a huge part as to why um, I have felt like such a drawing, I think, of not going anywhere. Like these are my people, and we all share the love of Christ, and it's kind of like your own church inside of a company
yeah.
that's trying to shed and happiness, not only physically but spiritually, and it's very powerful to me.
Mm, same. Like today, every day they do another big team offers a work and worship every day at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. And I love that. I love that we start our day in the word and in worship. And, where do you find that? That is really hard to find unless you work at a Christian store. And to be able to have that, I think is pretty powerful. So yeah, hands down. And that's obviously what intrigued me. I loved the fact that I couldn't shy away from what my beliefs were. I could be as bold as I want because it is my business, but it also now is a reflection because my uplines are just as bold as I am. And I love that. So we obviously bring people in the same as us normally. So I love it. Okay. I'm going to read Cindy's really quick, unless Julia, do you want to read Cindy's? You're muted.
Sorry. I was saying I love to. Obviously, you could all probably see that from my expression. Okay. So Cindy says she's typing hers because her husband can't be quiet. Okay. She says, I was intrigued by Plexus because it was a Christian company. Tell him to knock off that sass. I can hear him from here. Because it was a Christian company and she wanted the products. She knew that she needed something and she saw her friend's post. And let me scroll down here. Maybe. There it goes. Oh man. Hold on here. Okay. She saw her friend's post and it doesn't want me to scroll down. There we go. She saw her friend's post and reached out. She didn't think about the cost. That's pretty impressive that you didn't even think about cost. You just saw the post and reached out to her. I didn't know if you were going to say something. I was going to
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to ask you, I was just going to say, what was it about her post that intrigued you? Oh.
And then I was just going to say, I think it's pretty powerful. It also shows how ready she was for community. She could care less about the cost of the products.
Very true.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite parts is the community.
Absolutely. She said, I just knew I needed the product because I needed to lose weight and knew I had to do it. I had just lost a family member. That's right. I remember that too. Well, and that, I think that really points to where you're not really always posting for everybody to see. When we post and we share, we're posting for those people who are at the moment and they know they need change. And that was you. And Jerisa, when she posted, she didn't know she was posting to you. You know, she just posted because she wanted to share it because it was being so impactful in her own life. And she wanted to share that with other people. And so I think that is awesome because that was obviously a God thing that you saw that, because you and Jerisa haven't been connected too much over the last few years, right? Yeah. So I think that's pretty awesome. Cindy, you're going to have to get your very first picture and put a current picture and put your testimony out there.
Yeah.
Homework for you, my friend.
And that's the homework from Emily on her call. I don't know if anybody's listened to it or if anybody's doing the Ignite with us. I think most of us are. April, that would be a great one if you can do it. You can still, I believe, join because you get the
$20.
Yeah, it's $20. And Emily's coaching from yesterday was legit gold. And I thought, I mean, I took a ton of notes, but my favorite part was that now pre-pandemic, we were doing all kinds of different things. But when the pandemic hit, everybody went virtual. So it was so easy for people to buy. Where now we're going back to pre-pandemic to where people are now on it, not as buying as much online. They're being more cautious, things of that nature. And she talks all about that. And that it takes 14 to 18 times for somebody to decide it's ready for them now. And I think of my own purchases, like the things that I might be watching or seeing. And I'm like, do I really need that now? I see it. Oh man, that Facebook ad just keeps popping up with that bright pink blazer that I know I need, but I just gonna wait. And I promise one day I will. But it's true because I guarantee I've seen that blazer at least 10 times already. And have I purchased yet? No. But it's in the back of my mind that I want to. And so she just talked about statistically where we are at right now. And I loved her training. So if anybody can still join it, I would hands down do it because you get the recordings. And I think the recordings are forever. So you'll have them to always go back and listen to. And I think it will be huge for people just starting to share and understand that you can't post one time and expect your whole Facebook to see it. They're not going to. That is why you have billboards and things. You're passing by the highway every single day, and you might finally see that one ad that's been posted there for 6 months because it just caught your eye at the right moment. It takes a long time. And so just having to be consistent with posting is huge, as well as sharing in your stories. And she talked about that too. She said online sales is more like online dating. You have to get that respect from the other person. And I thought that was powerful. Okay. I love that, Cindy. And I love the fact that you were just ready for community and God knew that. And he just put that post in the right moment because it's exactly what happened. Hannah, are you able to talk or no?
Give me 2 minutes or
Okay.
3.
Perfect. April, are you able to talk or no? Are you still getting baby to bed? Daughter? I know she put some.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
She did say she was intrigued.
Oh, not able to talk. Okay. You're okay.
She says she was intrigued by Plexus because of how it had answered so many people's prayers.
So do you see that in that, like all of our stories are so different, where Cindy loved the fact that she didn't care about the price at all. She was just ready. She was like, I want that community. I want the Christian community. Same with April. I just love that it was answering people's prayers, and, Hannah has another really great story. I can't wait for her to share too. I'll do mine. So I bashed Plexus for years, bashed the heck out of them. But when you're in chronic pain and somebody tries to sell you a vitamin, you're like, haha, you're funny, right? And so Plexus came up several times, even my sister, and that also was a bad taste in my mouth. So a little bit of backstory on my sister. We are disconnected. There's just a lot of drama. She is not in our life. And so when she came to me about Plexus, it then put Plexus in a horrible light because of what and how my sister lives and how, that's the best way to put it. So it made me think Plexus was the same, like scammy, gross, not gonna even touch it. Oh gosh. I knew it was going to happen at some point. I love it. And the pink, I like the pink. So long story short, I had a bad connotation of Plexus because of my sister. So then when people brought it up to me, I then kept bashing it because I'm like, stop talking to me about this Plexus, whatever, get away from me. And then I suffered with endometriosis, PCOS, all kinds of stuff to where I was just in chronic pain, not every day, but pretty much the majority of the time. I would live on the floor and I would hand do my signs as much as I could from the floor and everything. And I looked into different hospitals, had several surgeries, and it was a hysterectomy was my next go-to. And I just didn't feel right about that. So I started looking for second opinions, started joining all kinds of groups, and then moved to Springfield, Missouri. I canceled my specialist appointment that I was going to go to Atlanta for because I was noticing people were coming out of there and having the exact same situation. They were having this awesome big surgery that was supposed to help and be life-changing, right? And give people like us hope. And people were coming out being in the exact same pain they went, coming in. And I was like, that I'm done. I'm not doing that. So here comes Plexus again when I moved to Springfield, Missouri from Wichita. And I thought, what the freaking heck? And so I really feel like God had to open up my heart to just be softer to it because I didn't want to hear it. And so 2 people from here that I was going to church with were taking Plexus, and they both just started talking about it. I'm like, it would be great to lose some weight, I guess. Didn't even think it would help with my endometriosis, to be honest. And then I started it only because my sponsor bought it for me for free because I was that stubborn. She bought it for me Christmas of 2015, and I didn't start taking it until the end of December of 2015. And so started taking it, and then Super Saturday rolled around, 2.5 weeks later, and I only went because I wanted a mom's weekend away. And that changed my life. Literally. I went and I saw the community. I saw the prayer, everything that you guys are seeing now. I saw it firsthand. I didn't see it through the internet. I went there in person, and it's so powerful to be in somebody's presence. And I loved the fact that I didn't know I was an ambassador. Back then you weren't a VIP customer or a customer, you were an ambassador, or a retail customer. That was it. And so these people are coming up to me, oh, what rank are you? Hey, Cassie, or Casey, whatever they would call me, what rank are you? And I'm like, Jana, what's a rank? Like, I'm just here taking the products. I could care less. I just want to have a mom's weekend away. And they didn't mind where I was at. They were like, oh, no worries. We're just glad you're here. And I just thought, wow, there was no competition. I had diamonds coming to me, talking to me. I had all these people loving on me. And I thought, well, that's different. And I even put away my journal. So we had just had a Christian retreat the week prior. And I brought my journal because I was going to journal while I was there for the weekend and do stuff like that. I brought it to this meeting. And in the back of the book, I started taking notes about what Plexus had to offer. Because I was like, she makes 10 grand a month. What? That girl is healed, or we can't say healed, but that girl is literally transformed because of these products. What? So I started taking notes like, how do I make 10 grand a month? And so I started just taking notes just in case I went home and decided to start sharing this. Now, my husband was anti-Plexus, and I'm not talking just like, I just don't want you to take Plexus. I'm telling you, anti-Plexus worse than I was, to where I had to hide the stuff. And he even told me in a joking way, but also saying as in like, we're going to be fighting if you come back home and you're all plexified. He told me that before I left. And so the whole way home, I was struggling with the fact, like, I really want to share, but I don't want to have a divorce with my husband now. Like, what do I do? And I remember that 3.5-hour drive contemplating, like, what am I going to do? Like, this could be an answered prayer for our income because we just moved to Springfield and I didn't know what I was going to do. I wanted to be at home with our girls, but I didn't want to paint signs anymore. So how am I going to make an income? How are we going to be able to afford a house and all these things? Right. And so then I get home, I had our talk. It was not great. And I just had to literally, the best way to put it is lay the law down. I put my foot down, and it probably was a week later. And I just said, you know what if this is an answered prayer? And I had to give the products back. If that gives you an idea. When I got back, I had to give the products back because my husband was not on board. Okay. So if you know somebody that has a husband just like this, know that it can change. It can change. You just have to be so bold in your belief to know that this could be that answered prayer for you too and your family. And it was. I knew deep down it was. And so I finally put my foot down. I got the products back and I told him, I said, what if I just gave away something that could truly bless me in my health, could bless us in everything? What if I just gave that away? And I said, and here's the thing, if it fails, it's on me. That's not on you. Like, I'm the one taking the products. I'm the one doing this stuff, not you. And so I think when he realized that I was putting my foot down and I was true in my words, that failure is on me. It wouldn't be on our family or any of that. Then he allowed me to take the products, and he was not very supportive until I hit Emerald, to be honest. Emerald is a very awesome rank in the company to where you go to Hawaii. So when we were in Hawaii in the pool, that was when he was like, okay, I think I'm fine with you working, a couple hours a night and da, da, da. I'm like, what? Because I would have to beg to come down and be like, I know this is intruding on some family time, but I really need to I'm not getting sleep if I need to get work and stuff done. And so it just got to where I finally compromised. We came up with a schedule that I can do while they're sleeping, that he puts the girls down. I come down here certain days of the week. And that's it. So we made that compromise, and that has been the blessing. So he knows what days I work. And then we know what days we have family days and things like that. So if you're curious about doing this long-term for income, you have to talk to your family. You have to find a schedule, because if you're wanting income that is truly life-changing, you cannot work 30 minutes. I will be honest. It will be really hard to have life-changing, income when you're only putting 30 minutes in. And so in the beginning, I put as much as I could in the time that I could, but it is best when you truly time block. When you're like, for me, I come down around 7 or 8 o'clock and I work until 11. And so for me to get full-time pay, honestly, more than my full-time job that I had before, for working only 4 hours, 3 to 4 days a week. So that's huge. And so just be open about that, and be open to all of that. Okay, I just want to make sure the chat was good. So there's my story in a nutshell. And so just know that husbands do come around that are not supportive. And you just have to be so bold in your belief that you know what you have, and they're going to see that. They do come around. It just takes time. Men sounds horrible if you're a guy listening, I'm so sorry. Men are just super more skeptical than women. They just are. And so it takes them a lot longer for them to come around normally. So, okay. Hannah, would love to hear a little bit about your story, even though I know it, but nobody else does.
Hey, so yes, I'm Hannah. And so we got started with Plexus a little bit different than what I've heard tonight. So we got started with our daughter for her health. So she was born a little bit early and her GI system did not work right. So she was on 5 GI medications. She was on seizure meds. She was on thickener to help her swallow. She was just a really sick child. And nobody could figure out why her system, like her stomach wasn't working. She'd had scopes and biopsies and everything came back fine. And nobody could figure it out. So I had scrolled past Cassie's posts for 2 years because my take on what Plexus was at that time was like weight loss or whatever, workout, weight loss. And here I am trying to help keep this kid alive. I didn't have time to go to the gym or work out or worry about weight loss. But I know earlier somebody was talking about God's timing and on the post. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, God put Cassie's post in my path one night after I just cried out to God, just desperate for him to heal Hallie. And I was like, God, if you heal her, I will give you all the glory. And so after I prayed and I was getting her to sleep and all that, I was scrolling Facebook and I came across Cassie's post where she shared where her friend's son was able to come off his reflex medication. And that caught my attention because Hallie was on 2 different reflex medicines and it was still not controlled well. Like, you can't pump any more medicine into this kid. And so that caught my attention and I reached out and I shared a little bit of Hallie's story and I was like, do you think it could help her? And she's like, you know what? I think it can. And so my husband and I prayed about it. And we did worry about finances because we were a single income family because she was literally down at Children's Hospital, typically minimum of 4 days a week, 3 to 4. Some days we were down there every single day and we didn't have the funds like for hotels. So I was driving the 3.5 hours there, doing that, coming back. I was exhausted. I mean, I was barely keeping up. And so we financially, you know, all the medical, all the gas, all that, we were strapped. And so we prayed and we decided to take this step of faith because, I mean, we had tried so many different things and had spent thousands on stuff from the health food store because we understood natural approach was, I mean, we were doing over the counter and prescribed, but I knew, I'm like, God has, like, there's just this missing piece of the puzzle. And I kept telling everybody, there's just something missing and I think it's going to be simple. But so we spent thousands at the health food store trying to figure out what that was even. And so I thought, we prayed, I was like, one more thing, we'll give it one more thing. And so Cassie was really good to explain to us that, you know, it gets to the root of the issue and it's not going to happen overnight. So here my kid is almost 10. She had just turned 9. And so she'd had health issues literally from the moment she was born. She came early. So even before then. And so we needed to give it some time. And for her little system didn't start really working really, really well where I could tell that was really making a difference until about the 4th month. Because I remember telling Cassie in like the 3rd month, like we've done the 90 days. I've seen some progress, but not enough to justify it. She's like, for me, it took 4 months. Like, just give it a month. And I said, okay, 1 more month and then we're done. And I'm so thankful for that. It gives me God bumps when I think about our life prior to these all natural supplements to now. So Hallie is off all 5 of her GI medications. She's off her thickener. She passed her first swallow study test 1 week before her 10th birthday. She was actually the oldest patient at Children's Hospital that didn't have like CP or something like that could not swallow properly. So she passed her first swallow study test, which we never thought that would happen. And so she's off her seizure medicine now and everything. She's medication free and she's doing well. And God gets all the glory for that. And he put that post in our path. We decided to pray. We took that step of faith and we are just so blessed. And I got into the business side without realizing it because Miss Cassie right there, cutie patootie, my mother-in-law saw the change in my daughter and she's like, hey, I want to try this Plexus stuff. And so at different people. So I reached to Cassie and I'm like, what do I need to do? They want to try it too. And she was such a great leader in the fact of she gave out my information. And so God answered I always like to share this part. We had 2 prayer requests, finances, because I could not work. I was always gone to appointments, and healing for our daughter. And God answered both of those things with the one thing, Plexus, and we're forever grateful. So never underestimate a post. You never know which one it's going to be.
And never underestimate a testimony because Hannah's testimony was one of the main ones that I vividly remembered from that Super Saturday that really struck a chord in my heart. So
agree. And I think that that's The thing is like for compliance wise, and so compliance is a good thing, a good thing. I even just got hit from something a year ago. But we have to make sure that our company stands firm. And so don't worry about something you post, because if there is something, we will help and we'll be like, hey, maybe use puffiness versus inflammation or whatever. Or the other thing that I've been doing, and I need to get better at too, is anything that I worry about, I only put up for a few hours and then I delete it, or I put it in my stories and then I delete it. I mean, it deletes in 24 hours. So that's another thing that you could do. Go ahead, Julia.
I was just going to ask you, I have been actually making posts that don't say Plexus. Like been kind of putting like a testimonial type verbiage out, but I don't actually mention Plexus. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I was trying to get away from being dinged for compliance and just using the term supplements. But I do know for a fact that this is actually something that, and I don't know if this is helpful, but we have a company that my cousin used to take supplements for years ago that got shut down because of compliance, and they had good supplements. And so Joel, when he heard about Plexus really coming down on compliance, he's like, you need to make sure that you're really following that, because you do not want that to happen to them. And I was like, that is very true. So I don't know. How do you feel about that, Cassie? Because that's kind of what I've been doing. I've been making posts, but just kind of putting my supplements instead of putting the name of Plexus, because
I got flagged on one 2 days ago from a post I made in 2019 because even though Plexus wasn't in it, because I represent it. I got flagged. And I used the word financial freedom.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, and it is. And I think that, just like a lot of us learned at Gold School, we just have to rein back. I feel like even for myself, what I'm going to do is I posted one today and I'm going to be deleting it tomorrow, because I keep seeing my tummy hurts, I eat this, my tummy hurts, I eat that. So I really wanted this one to resonate for a day or two, and then I'm going to delete it. And that's just what I'm going to do. I know a lot of people do that on Instagram as well. They'll put something up really quick and then delete it. Just so that people can see for a hot moment or in their stories that what these products can do. And if not, honestly, sometimes curiosity is the best way to go. Like, man, I'm so grateful that I'm not struggling on the floor anymore. And I have a lot more energy to be able to be with my kids, and all due to the products that I'm taking now. You don't have to go into all of the details sometimes. And I feel like sometimes we go into more word vomit than we really need to. Talking to myself too. So, okay, we are getting close to wrapping up, but I love Christina is on. And Christina, if you can, I would love to hear how and what intrigued you in Plexus and why you have stayed. So that was our question.
Cassie stalked me for a long time. No, just kidding.
I'm pretty good at that. I'm just going to say.
Oh, I'm kidding. But I think in general, what hit me the most was, initially just having gut problems. It got to the point where absolutely every single night I was bloated, cramping, gassy. We're all ladies here, but especially when it comes to our married lives, having nighttime where you are cramping and bloated and gassy, it just is not good. Very subconscious. And so I think that was it. I think that that's what started it. And I decided to try that. I think my intrigue originally was with the pink drink. So I think I was probably like a lot of people just curious about that, but I jumped into Triplex in the beginning and it kept me going. I noticed that I had more energy, natural energy, that those pains were gone, and then started Vital Biome. I've always had really high anxiety, and it tapered that off tremendously. Now I am a person that I still to this day take a very low dose medication, but I've noticed that if I stop Vital Biome, the anxiety increases. So that kept me going. And then for my kids too, I have a child with autoimmune disorders, another one that is unconfirmed, and seeing what even just ProBio 5 did for them, naturally speaking, whether it was, you just don't know what's in probiotics anymore and what to trust, and knowing that I could 125% trust that one for them. And then even saw simple things for them go away. Like several of them fought molluscum contagiosum, and ProBio 5 alone took that away. Several of them struggled with warts, and it took that away. So seeing those things had created that as a staple in their regimen. So yeah. So but I think at the end of the day, we are, my journey, because of my kids and their specifically the one autoimmune disorder, really opened my eyes into just a tailspin of, eye-opening into gut health and the food that we put in our body and how the body works and how the neurological system works and all the things. But again, when even health stores, you don't know what to trust, it becomes very, very daunting. And when you're putting, like Hannah said, when you are putting all that money into supplements, it's like you don't have the finances to trial and error something. Like you need something that you can trust that works. So, and it stuck with me. And once you felt better, you don't want to try anything else, right? Like, why try something? Why mess with something that works and that works? So, and then I think in general, seeing especially this group and their faith-mindedness makes a world of a difference. And that makes you trust it all the more, right? Because if these people are founded on their belief in God and are rooted in that, then, yeah, you can't be for God and against him at the same time. So that's it in a nutshell. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
So why have you stayed? And maybe I missed that part, but why have you stayed for so long? Because it's been years now.
Has been. And again, I think that it's because again, when something works, why ruffle the feathers, right? Like,
right.
I know it works. I feel it works. Continue, all the time. Even things as simple as, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as consistent with active because it's weird. Jess and I already do a natural energy, and it's crazy because we make a dose in the morning and we make a dose cocktail at night and we split it. And so it's like, but on the days that I am struggling, even that, I pick up active and I'm like, golly, the difference in the amount of mental focus, clarity is life-changing.
Yeah.
But to be perfectly honest, until I gain more people, I can't afford for him to take active and me to take active, and that's what he'd want to do.
So. Hey, but that's why it's going to be great this weekend. I say next weekend. I keep saying next weekend, and it's here. It's coming
this weekend.
Because
I know.
You all are going to learn so much to be able to move into transformation and know what to do from here on out. And I will tell you, it took me a while to be able to get my family on everything too. And so I get it, but we also have to start. I feel like when you start a small business, you have to start small anyway. You can't be like, I'm opening up a huge warehouse. And then you're like, crap, now I'm in like debt and 25 credit cards. Right. So I loved that, to where for me, even in the beginning, and I don't know if I shared this either, I had to half my Slim because we couldn't afford it. Like I was doing half a Slim, and I remember that. And then I remember I started cramping again, and Jason's like, no. What's going on? I'm like, well, I started trying to have it because it's costing so much, and I don't have the 3 people yet to help me pay for my product, and I don't, And I worked my booty off and tried to get it to prove to him that it would work, and I would get them paid for. So
And I think that is one huge blessing. My husband has always been very naturally minded. If anything, I was the one that was slow to come around. And so and he's just very, very supportive of me in general. So that's never been something, even, as things have gotten really, really hard and tight these last 2 years, and trying to look at budget and what do we cut and what don't we cut. And that was always something, like, I come to it and he's like, no, that's not something we're taking away. It's not, we'll work that out. So
I
praise
love
God
it.
for
God
that.
always does. He always does too. I always, even when in the beginning, when I started as well, that was the one thing that, again, I tried to half my slim and then my symptoms started coming back. And so he was like, nope, as much as I don't like this stuff, you figure it out. And then, but we'll go from there. But
yeah,
it's just crazy. And I've seen in so many other people of when they miss, like, they're like, oh, I ran out of BioCleanse, and then they're stopped up. And I'm like, well, that's proof. Again, I feel like it's a good thing, because sometimes people are like, this isn't working. And then they run out of something and then they get their problems back. And you're like, oh, really? What
Right.
was that again?
Right.
Oh, your headaches came back, or your whatever. Man. So I guess that BioCleanse did help with the magnesium or whatever. I mean, you don't say it smart like this. I'm just being, anyway. But
Right.
but it's so true of how our products work and what they can do when you're consistent and getting them in.
Right.
Like active, you don't have to be consistent in, I mean, I take it every now and then too, but so many of the others, I really try not to run out for those reasons. But
Yeah,
anyway,
agreed.
I loved
This is
hearing.
our little Evelyn here. She's getting ready to go to bed.
Hi. Aw.
Hi, Evie.
Oh, it switched.
Uh-oh.
There she is.
Hi, sister.
Okay,
How
go to
old
bed.
is she? Hannah wanted
She
to know.
is. She's 12.
Aw.
She's 12.
See, my goal is to do a cabin thing for all of the families in the summer. I just got to figure and plan that out. And so we can get all of our kids together, because, Shiley's 12, Emily's 10, and you got all these kids that are around the same
Yes.
age. So I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
I would love that.
They would love that. Exactly. Especially because, since I homeschool them all, they're always up for doing fun things.
Same. I love it. Well, I am so excited and grateful all of you shared what intrigued you with Plexus and your story, because you never know, even in the Bible, testimony is so powerful, and you will never know the ripple effect it's going to have. So people, when I send this recording and upload it, you never know, if you send it to somebody, it could truly, whatever word any of us said, it could trigger something for them. And they might be like, you know what? I'm ready. I think I'm ready. Let's do this. Tell me more about this. And so never hesitate to share what we have to offer, and just keep touching back, because God will use your words to truly impact somebody else's life. And so I'm so grateful you guys told your testimony. And I love this first community chat that we had. I cannot wait for it to continue to grow every single month as we just get to know each other. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording if I can find it. Zoom has changed on me. There it is.